Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jemiah Rochelle, and in this video I'll be talking about how to apply to nursing school. I know that when it's time for this process, it can be extremely stressful, not only because you're wondering, are my grades, my GPA, my test scores, are they good enough to get into this school, but also just getting everything in on time and knowing when to do it. So the first thing is first, deciding on what school you want to go to. Before you even go to college, you need to make sure that the school that you're going to has a nursing program. And if they don't have a nursing program specifically at the school, do they have any partnerships or whatever with other schools? For example, when I first, decided to go to college, or when I was deciding on what school to go to, originally I was going to go to Spelman College, and they have a partnership with Emory for nursing. Now, Spelman College in itself, they don't have a nursing program, but they have that partnership, so I knew that up front. But also, when you are deciding on what school to go to, you need to know which programs do they offer. Is it a BSN program? Do they offer, you get an ASN? Do they offer, MSN programs? Whatever it is that you're looking for, you need to know if that school provides that specific program. For me, specifically, I didn't want to get my associates in nursing. I wanted to go ahead and just get my BSN. It may have been easier to get my ASN and then go back later to get my BSN, but this is what I decided to do, to get my BSN at Georgia State University, so that was that. But also, I needed to know, or also I realized that Georgia State, they had two different programs. They have an accelerated program, which is 4 semesters, no breaks, which is a year and a half, versus the traditional program, which is 6 semesters, no summer classes, and it's 3 years. So, whatever is best for you. I mean, I guess it's okay for people who already had a degree and they just wanted to do the accelerated program, get that nursing degree, and be done with it. But it was no break, so if you feel like you need a break, then maybe you should go with the school that has a slower paced program versus doing an accelerated program. And if you're on a time crunch and you're like, okay, I need to get this as soon as possible, maybe going to a school with an accelerated program is the best option for you. Next, you need to know, how much is this going to cost me? Can I afford this? What do I need to do to be able to go to this program and complete it? So one thing that you can look at is this a private school versus a public school? For a lot of private schools, their tuition is the same across the board, whether you're in-state or not. It's expensive because it's private, but it's the same across the board. And then if it's a public school, it's cheaper if you actually live in that state versus living out of state. And in order to qualify for in-state tuition, you have to live in that state for at least a year, or at least that's the case for a lot of the schools that I've looked at. The next thing that you need to do is determine, okay, what scholarships can I get? Does this school offer scholarships? Do I think I'll be able to, get outside scholarships to help pay for the cost of this program? The next thing that you need to do is know, what are my requirements? What does this, well, not what are my requirements, but what are the requirements for said program? GPA matters. What classes do I need to take? Do they, look at the science GPA more? Does the overall GPA matter more? Do I need to have a letter of recommendations? What entrance exam do I need to take? The T's versus the HESI. I believe there's one more test. Maybe it's the Kaplan exam. But I believe for the most part, it's the HESI versus the T's. And then the last thing is experience. Do I have to have volunteer hours? Do I need to have volunteer hours at a hospital? Do I have to have work experience at a hospital? And is a CNA certification required? For one of the schools that I went to, having a CNA license was required, so I did that, but I ended up not even applying to that school, because this is another thing. If you're transferring from one school to a different school, you need to know, will the classes that I've taken transfer to that school? Because they won't always transfer, and then that'll make you have to retake classes or take extra classes that you didn't take at your home school. And then deadlines. What are my deadlines? When are my entrance exams due? When is the last entrance exam that I can take where I will have my test scores in time to apply for this program? When are my deadlines for said program? Hey guys, I forgot to mention, you apply to the program once your requirements are fulfilled. That means your classes. When are my letter of recommendations due? Are the letter of recommendations due at the same time that the application is due? Are they due in advance? And then even with your letter of recommendations, you should have in your mind who you want to ask to write your letter of recommendations for you. I know at my school, it looked way better to have your science professor write your letter of recommendation opposed to like your language arts professor. And we had to have at least a professor write a letter of recommendation for us, and then someone else. So I chose to use my boss and my science and one of my science professors. And then also you need to ask your school, are there things that you can do to make your resume more attractive? So, you know, having a certain amount of a certain amount of volunteer hours, you know, say if you have 500 volunteer hours, does that give you an extra point? I know at Georgia State, they go off of a point system. So will that give me extra points? For my T's or my HESI, if I get like in the A range or the A% for my science test or the math section of the test, will I get an extra point for that? If I have work experience, do I get an extra point for that? There's just certain things that you can do that can make your application more attractive, and you need to find that out because nursing school is extremely competitive. Everybody might have a 3.8 GPA. Everybody might have a 4.0. There may be a few people with a 3.2, and that doesn't mean that they won't get in, but the overall package, the overall resume that you have is what attracts the nursing schools to you. So just because you have a good GPA, there may be other things that they're looking for that will, you know, give you the extra, you know, those extra points to say, okay, you know, this is a well-rounded student. Maybe I'll take them instead of this person who just has a 3.8, and that's it. And then the last thing that I would suggest that you guys do when applying for nursing school is to make you an account with AllNursescom. And what this website provided for me was a safe place to look at different applicants in the pool of people that were applying to nursing school at that time at my school. So, you know, what people normally do on that site is they'll post their credentials, they'll post, you know, what they got for the T's, they'll post what their GPA is, what their overall GPA is versus their science GPA, they'll post, you know, how many volunteer hours they had, if they have any work experience, and then pretty much as you apply, you will post what you get on that website so that everybody can see, and then you'll just wait, you know, as the process goes along, and then slowly but surely people will start posting, I got my acceptance letter today, or I got waitlisted today, or unfortunately I got rejected today, and it just kind of gives you an idea of when to start looking out for that acceptance letter or your decision, you know, if you got accepted or not. And it just kind of gave me a peace of mind a little bit while I was applying, because I'm not gonna lie, the whole process is stressful as crap, because, you know, this is a big thing for you, and in order for you to move to the next level, you need to get into a program. I will also suggest applying to more than one program at a time, maybe 2 or 3. Not saying just apply to one program is such a bad idea, because you can have that much faith in yourself and that much faith in God that you know that you're gonna get into that program. But, you know, it also doesn't hurt to say, okay, I applied to Georgia State and Kennesaw, so I have a chance to get into 2 programs versus just one. Well, that concludes my video on how to apply to nursing school. I wish you all the best in your process. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're applying to nursing school right now, leave me a comment down below. If you get accepted, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm super excited to, you know, engage with you guys and help you guys along your process and along with your journey. If you don't know, I am a T4 nursing student at Georgia State. So I have 2 more semesters after this semester. So a year from now, I'll be graduating, and then I'll be taking my NCLEX, and I'll have that RN, BSN at the end of my name. But anyway, if you like what you saw today, comment down below, subscribe down below, and like this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.